All right, welcome back to D3 Glory Days, joined now by Annie Rodenfels. I believe this is your fourth time on D3 Glory Days, maybe a fifth. You can correct me if I'm wrong there. But Annie, welcome back to D3 Glory Days. It's been way too long since you've been on last.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I maybe fourth. I think fourth sounds right to me.
Fourth sounds right.
Yeah.
I mean, you were episode number 2, so that's pretty
Yeah.
impressive. And now we're in the 200s, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's a long time.
And impressive that Stu and I haven't burnt this bridge yet. Episode 2, you're here. You are over 100 episodes later, and we're still on speaking terms, and I think that's really great.
Hey, D3 for life.
Well, we appreciate you not leaving us behind with all these wins you keep racking up. 3-time NYR 5K champion. It wasn't the USA Championship this year, but you still get the win 3 years in a row. How much do you love that finish line in Central Park and crossing as the winner?
Yeah, it's really fun. It's fun to win always, but it's especially fun when you get a beat. They always put good fields together, and that's always especially fun. It's rewarding when you are beating people that maybe a lot of people thought you wouldn't. So yeah, kind of prove that I'm good on the roads and that I know the course and know how to race it strategically.
And I think I saw that you were the first. It was either the first person to win it 3 times in a row or the first person to win it 3 times outright, or both. Do you know which of those it was?
I think it was just the first person ever to win it 3 times.
Wow.
So, I mean, I guess by that measure, also the first person to win it 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of surprising. They told me that after, and I was like, really?
So what do you think, why do you think you're so well suited for this race? I mean, it is kind of an interesting course, isn't it? Does course knowledge come into play here?
I think so, because this NYRR is just so good at getting people out to its races that I feel like for a road race, it draws a lot of people who don't do a lot of the road races. So I think that coupled with maybe knowing the roads a little bit better than some of the other people in the field, but also just knowing this course specifically, it's a lot different of a road race to jump into for your first one if you've just been on the track, because you have to run the tangents, which, some of the track people don't know. You have to understand how the course plays out. It's hilly at the end, which may not, be normal for a road race, and a little bit of a downhill and just, So I think both of those combined and just the time of year, has just always kind of played to my advantage a lot. So.
You kind of mentioned they're beating people that folks don't expect you to beat. We've been following your career since 2019. We've grown a big fan of yours. Do you feel like you're not getting as much respect as you should be this late in your career?
No, I don't know if I care.
Not late in your career, but at this point in your career.
Yeah.
Or am I just feeling like you should be hyped up more than you are?
Yeah. I mean, I think the people that I've beaten when I have respect for me. I think there's just some people that maybe only stick to the tracks and aren't as aware. Not that I think that they're not respecting me, but I feel like maybe there were some people in the race who were a little surprised when I sprinted past them. My coach told me to replay Ellie Pierre's face, and she just looked a little what the? And it's not because she knows who I am. We've met before, but I don't think she's ever raced me. So that might be a little bit what? Where are you coming from? What are you doing? But I feel like the people that I have raced and beaten before, even haven't beaten, but gone toe to toe with them, I feel like I know Kira has said things oh, I knew you would kick, so I was ready for it when I've raced her before. But yeah, I mean, I think I've flown a little bit under the radar just in terms of maybe coverage from I don't know, Sidious Mag or someone. But yeah, I don't know. I think that people who know enough probably know that I'm a contender. It just kind of depends on how much you do your research and the type of race too. Because in a track race, I'm not beating a bunch of people. It's really just on the roads where I feel like I'm more of a threat. So
when you have this success on the roads, do you start, I don't know, daydreaming about expanding your range a little bit, starting to look at half marathons and stuff, or are you still is the track still too close to your heart?
No, that's always been the plan. I feel like I don't think I expected to be doing as well on the roads as I did. And I mean, honestly, the track is just sexier. So of course you want to kind of be better on the track. It's just oh, flashier. And when you're good on the track in the US, you're good, right? So
Yeah.
it's tempting to just want to be the best at track. But yeah, I think since I realized that I was better on the roads, that yeah, that's kind of always been the plan of like a gradual. I want to get people hyped. I want to get my name out there. I want to like be seen as someone who's very good on it, and then kind of slowly move up to the point where when I'm debuting in the marathon, it's like excitement, like, oh, what can she do, kind of thing. So yeah, I mean that's definitely on my mind. It's happening kind of right now, moving up, but I'm still not ready to completely leave the track. I have a lot of goals there that are kind of just like right out of reach. So
So you did the 10 miler, and I want to
yeah,
say I remember
yeah.
your caption of like was not ready for like that distance part of the road, but now, and I blank on what year that was, but do you feel now you're a little bit more prepared for the longer distance on the road?
I think so. The with that too, I had been training for a month. And
Okay.
so I don't really know why my coach all of a sudden was like, "You're gonna do this 10-mile race." I had literally been doing like 5K workouts for like 3 or 4 weeks, and that was it. And then he was like, "Just do it." Um, so yeah, I mean, I think also just I think that was 2 or 3 years ago. It was maybe 2022 or 2023, maybe. I mean, I think if you had even just put me in that like in December instead of whenever it is, like September or something, October, then I would have been more ready. But yeah, I've done a lot more longer reps and just higher miles. And I'm just older too, and I think a little bit more seasoned. So yeah, feel more ready.
I'm wondering if you can kind of take listeners behind the scenes to like a race weekend in New York. I think the Roadrunners are one of the best organizations in pro road running, and their events are awesome. We've had Sam Growald on the podcast before, and especially this race, which is in conjunction to New York City Marathon. So, kind of take us behind the scenes of your experience out there, and how they take care of athletes.
Oh yeah, they're the best at it. Yeah, I mean they pay for me to fly out. They pay for us to stay in like a really nice hotel in Midtown with where all the like other marathoners and like race people are. Um yeah, I get there like the day before, you're at this nice hotel. It's like easy distance from like walking distance from like Central Park and Times Square and Fifth Ave. And so you can kind of just like bop around, hang out with everyone at the race. I always end up it's been Halloween weekend the last 2 years, and, last year, I happened upon I don't think it was the night before the race, I think it was 2 nights before the race. Heidi Klum does her, like, Halloween costume reveal outside
Wow.
the Hard Rock Hotel, which is, like, a few blocks away, and so, actually, for the past 2 years, I've stood outside of that for, like, an hour waiting for her to come out. This year, it was a little less ideal because it was the night before the race, but I was out on the street at 9:30 the night before the race waiting for her to come out.
And did you
Um,
did you see her?
no, she didn't come out until
Oh
midnight.
no! Oh,
Yeah,
come
I
Oh,
on.
know. Yeah, the 2 years ago, she did. And that was very exciting. She came out at, like, 10. But since it was race night, I was like, "I'm definitely the only person out this late just, like, standing on the road, like, racing tomorrow morning really early." And there's, like, a huge crowd. It's very fun. But, yeah, then they, like morning of, they, like, bus you there. They take care of you. They make sure you have like little packets for breakfast. And, we do the race. They have a little tent for us and coffee, which is crazy because I don't think there's any single pro in there that's like getting a coffee cup like an hour before the race.
The stuff that's available in there is always like kind of interesting. It's like
Yeah.
nobody is like smashing a bagel,
Yeah. Yeah.
like right before the warm up or whatever.
It's so nice though. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then you get to do the race and it's done like pretty early. And then the nicest thing is like usually after races, even if the race pays for it, I'm usually gone by the end of the day, especially for like an early morning race, like the next morning. New York road racers, like they pay for you to stay the whole next day and like go to the marathon,
oh,
see
cool.
it. They give you like a pass to the finish line, like a VIP pass, so you can go sit in the grandstands. And they just take such good care of you. They also have like a hospitality suite with like coffee and breakfast for us and the marathoners, and like they give you a gift. I got like Shocks headphones and a little beanie and like a bunch of makeup because Maybelline is a partner with the race.
I never got any makeup. I was always
Yeah,
like,
I
it
know.
was always like airplane pillows. That's what I
Oh
always
yeah,
got.
I got like
Yeah.
10 lipsticks, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with these, but thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they just take such great care. They make sure that like they're giving you a train ticket to get back to JFK or Newark after the race and like reimburse everything. So yeah, like it's already so much fun because the marathon is happening and like there's so many people, and like even in the Abbott Dash to the finish, there's like 15,000 people doing it behind you.
Oh wow.
But then they
Way
just
behind you.
also
Way
yeah,
behind you.
yeah. But then they also just like, yeah, are so kind to the runners and like so good at knowing what they need. So yeah.
I want to hear about the race. I saw the video. It was just like a perfect head down and you just take off. And like, it wasn't like this majestic move at like around the turn. Like you just started taking off and just no one countered. Like, was that 200 meters away from the finish line, or where did you
Mhm.
start your kick?
Yeah, exactly. With there's like an 800 and then maybe a 400, then a 200 like marked off because it's for the marathon. So yeah, like I think exactly at the 200, I just was like, well, okay.
Were you
I'll go
surprised like
now.
no one really came with you? Like, I mean,
Yeah, I
they
was
made an attempt,
surprised.
but yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised. Yeah, I thought maybe I started to try to just keep the gap not too big, tried to start to get a little bit more on their heels with like 800, felt like it was too far to do a kick, just knowing that Ellie was there and has a kick, obviously. It was like, okay, I'm not gonna, mess with that. So I just felt like, okay, it's like a little bit of an uphill finish. Hopefully 200 is the right amount of time to kind of surprise them, not give them enough time, but also like kind of uphill. So like kind of hard once someone goes by you to maybe catch them. So enough time for me to go, but not like fizzle out.
I don't want to get too much into your like future race plans quite yet, but it is kind of an interesting time of year for 5Kers to be,
Mm-hmm.
racing a high quality race in November. And so where did this kind of sit in your calendar? Were you like really, gunning for this one, or is this kind of part of a larger buildup you have your eyes on?
Yeah, it's part of a larger buildup. I would say in the past, I've come into this race pretty fit, pretty sharp, kind of on accident, but it's just happened. And this year, I mean, like before the race, Josh, my agent, was like the morning of, I think he was like, "So what do you think is going to happen?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like, I'm not as sharp as normal. Like, that's been on purpose. I've been trying to not be in as good of shape. Like, it's kind of a question mark where I'm at. I've done one other race, and that was definitely like a rust buster, just get second, not like race for time. So I was like, this could be a lot more challenging. Um, so yeah, I didn't really know. I'm obviously in like decent shape, but I feel like I haven't really put in as much work. I'm like a month or a half behind where I usually am, just because of the champs, and also kind of trying to do that on purpose, to not fizzle out too early. Yeah.
So when we'll get into this, but you're now in Colorado, no longer in Boston. Does that affect how often you get to go to BU this winter, or like you're right there and now you got to fly to it? Like, does that change things for
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like I only did like 2 BU races, sometimes 3 a season. There's just so many of them. I think, yeah, I mean, it probably will impact it a little bit. I don't know kind of how much I'm going to do indoor is like a question mark right now. We have other races that are kind of the main priority. And then after the next race, it's kind of like up to me how I'm feeling if we want to do indoor or not. So it can kind of go either way. My coach is like, if you feel good, let's do it. Like you're really good at running indoors, so I think you should. But also like we're not trying to push any timeline right now. So if not, I'm not.
So a lot has changed for you recently. You stole my agent, you stole my sponsor, you've moved to Colorado. Uh, so I
Oops.
guess no, I'm just kidding. My first question, in the midst of all this change, how has running been a constant for you? Because it's stressful to make all those
Yeah.
changes, but
Yeah.
you're still performing well, and so kind of take us through the psychology there.
Yeah. I think it took a second. I feel like I had a pretty subpar track season this past year. Indoor was good. Like I ran 15 flat point something. And that was good, but I feel like kind of everything past that was just it's just like it wasn't horrible. I mean, there was like one horrible race, but it wasn't up to my standards either. Um and training was like it got really difficult and hard. And part of that was I was anemic. I mean, that was probably like a big part of it, but I was also just very stressed waiting for a sponsor and all the change and like adjusting to a new training system and putting a lot of pressure on myself to run really well to get a good sponsor. And in a situation that I wanted. I would say I'm finally coming out on the other side of that. I feel like I felt shitty for many, many, many months. And I feel like the past like 2 months, finally, I'm starting to feel more like how I would say like typical Annie. Just like, okay, workouts are consistent. I'm going a little faster than I want on everyone. I'm feeling good. I'm surprised by my fitness. Like, that's kind of how I normally feel. Like, not, I ran 90 miles this week and that like gives me energy, I feel like, instead of like taking away, instead of like being like sluggish. Um, so yeah, it's taken a while, but I just tried to believe, and like when it did suck and I felt like I was going backwards in workouts, just kept putting in the work and kept believing that like I'd be on the other side of it soon, and in like a situation that was, yeah, more like suited for like my happiness and like not as much stress. So yeah, like it's not always fun. You don't always want to train. You can sometimes go through long periods of not wanting to, but I've always found that like when I just keep doing it and just like try to be positive, it eventually like turns around and I'm like happy that I went through it. And like then the good parts of running are like so much better. So
To paint a timeline for folks, 2024, end of 2024, you're still with Team BAA, and you can fill in the gaps here and as much as you can tell. I know the running rules like that, but now you're with Solomon. Can you kind of go into, I guess, as much detail as you want to, like with this change, changing teams, changing coaches, and kind of the decision process behind that, or yeah, just the decision process behind that?
Yeah. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say
Yeah,
about what
exactly.
happened with the BAA, but I'll just say I left my coach, which is the only coach at the BAA, immediately after the trials, about 2 days after. Um, and so I was coaching myself. I was still like contracted to be on the BAA team, but was training alone, and was like with the BAA kind of in name only. So coaching myself for, I guess, from August. So like pretty much all the 2024 season up until like May, I was coaching myself. So I was still getting like financial sponsorship, but like not much else beyond like that in terms of support. And then, yeah, I mean, I think it was a mutual parting of ways. My coach didn't want to coach me anymore. And, he made it clear that I didn't want to be coached by him anymore. And so I just, I told the BA I'd continue my contract. And then, yeah, they didn't really get back to me on whether they were going to re-sign me or not, which is fine. Like I kind of figured that with the way it went, because there's only one coach.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I didn't have an agent. So I interviewed some agents. I hired Josh Cox because it just seemed like the best fit. And then Josh, as soon as he could, started to get to work on finding deals for me. And yeah, and for a few months, I like wasn't really sure. So I think maybe like 2 or 3 months was not sure it was happening, was just letting him figure it out, and me just like try to focus on like having an okay indoor season and try to prove that, I'm a consistent runner and I can put up consistent times, that like I'd be worth a brand's time to like sponsor. Um and then yeah, we like kind of started talking to Solomon, and I heard there was interest and they sent me some shoes and I tried them out, and then it was pretty clear that that was like the offer that I was the most excited about. So signed with them in maybe April, May. And then about the same time, since then I had like I didn't have to coach myself anymore. I hired Julie Benson to be my coach, because it just made sense, and I like her and I've known her for a really long time and I trusted her. So yeah, she started coaching me in May, and we just kind of slowly transitioned into, yeah, her coaching. And then I felt like dealt with a lot of the stress that had been prolonged from like being unsponsored, and like, also just like leaving the BAA essentially in August and just being in limbo until May was just like a lot. And I was also like working a part-time job during that time, just knowing I didn't know how long it'd be until I got paid again to run. So yeah, it's been good now, and I'm happy that everything, like I ended up here. I'm in a much better place. And I have like Julie's support, which is so great. And I think, yeah, it's gonna be what I need to kind of take it to the next level, which is what I feel like I've been trying to do for like a year and a half now of like, how do I get to where I want to be next?
I think it's tough for athletes who are in situations like you were at the BAA where like your livelihood is tied into your coaching situation and your team
Hmm.
situation. And now it strikes me that you're in a situation where these various factors are not like dependent on each other anymore. Like
Yeah.
you could leave your coach and not sacrifice your training partners, I think. And you could leave Solomon and not sacrifice whatever. And so do you just feel like a little more settled in a situation
Yeah.
like that where all the pieces are kind
Independent.
of yeah,
Yeah. In control.
yeah,
Yeah. I think the team system is like in America is good. Like I like, I think especially like when you're first starting coming out of college, like it makes the transition a little easier to kind of have all that like tied up in a nice package. But I did feel like especially getting a little bit older, even besides the like drama that happened, that it was just, yeah, I didn't have a ton of flexibility. Like it was like, well, this is when the team's going to camp, so this is when you're going to camp. And I would just have to say,
yeah.
okay, bye to my husband, like, see you in 9 weeks. Please take care of our dog, or like asking my coach if I can go home and see my family for the weekend, or like, I mean, maybe not asking, but being like, hey, do you think this is okay? Timeline.
Yeah, you're never, like,
Um,
sure if it's gonna be okay, and you don't wanna,
yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that was part of the reason that the Solomon deal, especially, was just so attractive to me of like, hey, you set up the support team that works best for you and like the training situation that works best. Cause Solomon doesn't have, a team that they're feeding into. It was like, we understand that like you need to put together whatever looks best for you. And that may be different from other people. And so that, that and just like getting in on like kind of a lower beginner level of like Solomon just trying to build up the road team was like super exciting to me and a very attractive, like, yeah, like I'd love to do that.
What did you learn about yourself during that time where you're coaching yourself? Like, did you find workouts that you actually liked that you didn't realize you did? Like, how did you find yourself as a runner?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a very strong sense of myself as a runner and pretty good um self-reflection in general. Like at the same time, luckily I had the support of a sports psychologist that I'd been seeing like a few months earlier. And so like having her support was very useful of her like reinforcing like, no, like, you know what you're doing, like you're doing great, like you're running PBs, like reinforcing my beliefs because I didn't have a coach doing that. I had no one else essentially caring about my running or paying attention enough to like be like, no, you're doing the right thing. But yeah, I think I found that's when I started messing around with like, why not do 90 miles a week? Like, let's see. And I feel like, I mean, I kind of already knew, but I respond really well to just like a lot of strength work. I can get in pretty good shape off of just that. I started doing some double threshold, which I'd never done before. Really enjoyed it. Probably pushed the envelope a little bit too much with it, because I was like, it's fine. I was basically doing, I would say, more like 2 workouts a day than like threshold. um, but
The
yeah, it
classic
also
mistake. Classic
yes.
mistake for double threshold training.
Yeah. But I think it also like reinforced just, man, I need a coach. Like this is fine and I can get myself in good shape, but especially once I needed more specific like speed stuff for like indoor, that's where I really started to be like, I know I have the knowledge to do this. I can tell other people to do it, but I started stressing more about like, am I doing the right types of workouts? Am I doing the right paces? I had one of my college friends who's a D1 coach now like help me a little bit write some of the indoor workouts. Um because I was just like, like I know I have this knowledge, but it's so much harder to like think of it myself and like do it. So it also was made pretty clear that I didn't want to do this super long term coaching myself. I need a coach to hold me back, and I was scared of like if I just kept coaching myself, I was just gonna like kind of burn myself into a hole, which I think I did a little bit. So yeah.
So you mentioned you hired Julie Benson, and then you've
Mhm.
joined, Meridia. I'm saying that
Mhm.
correctly, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Which is the Colleen Quigley founded team out here in Colorado, and so I guess maybe a multi-part question. One, how did you connect with Julie? Two, was that connection contingent on joining Meridia? And then three, if you could kind of explain how like the Meridia team works exactly, because
Yeah.
it seems like kind of a collective where you can have your own coach, and I'm just not totally clear on it. So
Yeah.
take it
Good
away.
question. Okay, good questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Julie Benson, I have known since I was a freshman in college. So she knew me when I was not breaking 20 and cross. And I met her the summer after my freshman year. My college coach puts on a track camp for kids in Kentucky, and the like counselors are like the college students from her team, but like she has clinicians, which are Olympians. So it's a really cool opportunity. So Julie was the distance like clinician, and I was just like a distance counselor. So I met her. She was super cool. And then, like years went on, I became a semi-pro. She found me one time at a race in New York. Maybe like I don't even know. I think it was before I moved to Boston, I think. Maybe not. Maybe when I was in Boston, like my first year, and she was like, "Do you remember me?" And I was just like, "Of course I remember you. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
how do you remember me?" And she was like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you. Like you've been doing so good. Like I followed you this whole time." And I was like, "That's so nice." And then yeah, like when I left and needed a new coach, I called up my college coach and was just talking to her, and she was like, you should ask Julie to coach you. She was just like, I trust her a lot. She's a good coach. Like, I don't think she's crazy. I feel like getting back to like a woman coach would be something that might work really well for you after having kind of struck out with two male coaches in a row. And I was like, yeah, like, I mean, maybe, yeah, like, I'll think about it. And then, yeah, Colleen around the same time, like, called me and was just like, "I don't know what your situation is, but I'm gonna start a team. What do you think? Would you be interested in joining?" Kind of just like a long shot because we only kind of barely knew each other. And at the time, she was thinking Julie would be the coach of the team. That didn't end up happening. And I was like, yeah, actually, like I was already kind of thinking about Julie being my coach. And so, yeah, I eventually linked up with Julie. Julie didn't end up being the coach. It was a contingent. So it was, yeah, but it was like what I wanted anyway. After like looking at all my options, there was not another one that I was excited about. I did leave that door open for my coach. I didn't link up with Julie sooner because I did want to have the possibility of, if my only option for like a brand was,
Mm.
join this team, I wanted to have that door open and not close it because I mean, I just would like to get paid to do my job. I'm not, like there's teams I'd rather be on than less, but I'm not going to be picky when I need to be paid.
Yeah.
And so it just ended up working out that like I could be with whatever coach I wanted. And yeah, Julie was like probably the only one that I was like, yeah, like it'd be hard to beat this. This is what I want. She knows me. She knows the program that I came from, which was something I hadn't had with a coach before, and just kind of knew more about, like, I think understood me because she knows my college coach and like where I was. And that was like exciting and like nice to be someone who's like familiar with it instead of just having to explain it all. Um, so, yeah, and then Meridia, yeah, I would say it's like a collective would be the best way to describe the team. Um, it's people who have whatever brands. And the idea really is that it's very athlete centered, right? Like normally it's a team, it's kind of brand centered. Like the brand is going to hire this coach and they're going to sponsor everyone. The idea is that like it's what we need first. So, whatever coach you need and the brand that works best for you. And then we're a collective of people who can like work out together and line up whenever we can. So like it obviously has its challenges, but it's also kind of a new way of going forward and trying to like meet the needs of the athletes instead of like meeting the needs of a brand or a coach. Yeah.
How often are you working out with anyone on the team?
Yeah, so far not very much. It's a lot of like middle distance people. And I've just started up sooner than everyone else. But I have people for easy runs. Colleen also is just like got here last week to be here for like the year. So it's ramping up a little bit now, but I don't know how much I'll have workout partners, which I knew coming in. Um, But to me, it was still just like a better opportunity than like I was alone every single day in Boston. So I was like, I'm okay working out alone if there's some people to line up with easy days.
Yeah.
And like occasionally maybe we can link up for our workouts. But right now it's like everyone's barely back and I'm like, I'm going. Yeah.
How have you adjusted to Colorado altitude? I mean, you've only been there for 1 or 2 months, right?
Yeah, I think almost 3 maybe,
Almost
two
3.
and a
Okay.
half. Yeah. It was rough at
Yeah.
first. I think coming out of shape. I think normally in Boston or at sea level, I will like, do 2 weeks of workouts and I'm like, I'm back. Like, it's fine. It's easy. And I feel like that took like a month and a half here of just like everything kind of painful and just being like, oh my God. Plus I think it just like messed with my head. Like, okay, I'm only running this fast and that seems really slow and that's weird, but I'm dying. And so I was kind of like, am I in shape? Like, but I think I know that I do well at 5,000 feet because like the few times I've done little altitude stints, I've come back down and been in good shape. And so I'd say like the last 3 weeks, I feel like I've been like, oh, I'm in kind of good shape. Like I feel like I'm running kind of fast for altitude, and feeling a lot of confidence. And then also just like especially going down for like the New York race, things just felt so easy in the race. And that was really nice after kind of just like never feeling like you're in rhythm and altitude and kind of just like pushing all the time. Um, it really did like the race was like, oh, this is easy. This is not hard at all. And that was awesome. I'm looking forward to like hopefully more of that.
I want to go back to the Solomon deal for a little bit because I think running for Solomon is kind of a unique experience because I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're one of 3 U.S.
Yeah.
based athletes. My former teammate Maggie being one, and then Footson's and Selassie being the other. And so
Mhm.
you have a like degree of connection to the brand that I think is uncommon for a lot of sponsored distance runners. And so kind of talk us through your experience with the company so far. I know you guys did the training camp earlier this year, went out to Annecy, which is a really beautiful place. And so, yeah, tell us a little bit about kind of you haven't been with them a super long time, but your kind of early impressions of Solomon so far.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. Honestly, everyone I tell about it is like, "What?" Like they're like, "You get what?" I think they're very yeah, I think they're catering the athletes more than any other brand. It was attractive anyway before I knew any of this just cuz I was like, "Oh, I can go to Nike or Adidas or someone and be one of 500 and they have, 12 athletes in the US that are better than me, which is fine. But just kind of you're another number. And I was like, that's kind of cool to like be, at a smaller team at Salomon that's like trying to grow. And then I went to France and yeah, they have a whole team that they have put together for the professional athletes that I think is just unmatched. I mean, when I go to France, I get all my blood work done for free. And then I have a French doctor that I meet with and talks about any concerns I have. And then I have access to him the rest of the year if there's something that comes up. And I like want to be like, hey, this is like, look at this is what's happening. What should I do? There's 2 PTs that we worked with that did a bunch of just gathering data of any, previous injuries, if there's any imbalances. There's a performance director who used to work for the Ineo cycling team that is like kind of his whole job is to help us with anything to like optimize training. We did VO2 stuff, we did testing. What else? We had a chef who was there the whole time who made us
Wow.
all our great meals. um, what else? Oh, a nutritionist that I have access to year round. If I need help with just like day to day stuff or even like fueling once I move up to like the longer distances. Um, and then recently I have a strength trainer here in Boulder who they contract to that Solomon pays and I like she bills Solomon. I get to meet with her for free and she gets to, she has access to all the info that Solomon is getting when I'm in France. And she can see all that and then like help me here on the ground and like see me. So
That's
that just happened to
incredible.
be like great in general. But yeah, I'm trying to think if I missed anything.
The
Stu,
content.
isn't it embarrassing that I like didn't run faster with all these
Yeah,
resources?
what are you doing? Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well,
Yeah. Like it's great.
and I was just so impressed, as a consumer of running and pros, just the the attention to detail they gave to you specifically, like the
Mhm.
content shoots. I think it was one in New York, like when you were in New York, and like how proud of they were of you, and
Yeah.
all that stuff. Like it's just like so cool that they took the time to like go out there, travel just for one athlete. It's not like you
Well,
see.
there's two.
Oh, two.
Maggie was-
Sorry,
Maggie
Maggie
was
ran the
up
To be
there.
marathon.
honest,
I apologize.
They weren't really coming for me. I think it was serendipitous that I was there.
Hey,
but
this is your show. This is your
Yeah.
this is your podcast.
Our
Maggie who?
206.
Yeah.
No, Maggie wasn't in New York. It was our
that's right.
206 guy
Yeah, the
who was
is he like Swedish
fifth.
or something?
Yeah, he's Swiss.
Swiss.
He was
that's right.
fifth overall. So he was already going to be there. And then I think they're like, great, you're there too. But yeah, I mean, they still, have a whole shoot for me. And they made the whole video. I think they made a few other videos that they're going to post. And then, yeah, they put me on like their main almost 1 million followers thing. And like, I know the people who run the social media because I met them in France. And like, they're personally DMing me on WhatsApp being like, great job. Like, that was awesome.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's been awesome. They brought out a whole team the whole week we were in France. And by the end, it was crazy. We'd like, they'd follow us around, a videographer and a photographer. And then at the end of every day, they'd have like a link to like 7 videos and like a bunch of pictures like for a week. It was crazy. It was just like, oh my God. So yeah, just trying to make it like as easy as possible for us to do like every aspect of our job, which is very
Do you think
cool.
you guys love Solomon? If you're listening, we love you guys.
Yeah.
Hit us up.
We do. Yeah. Plus you get to go to France like twice a year, which is freaking awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be pretty nice. Bring us out. We'll do a podcast in France. Can you imagine that? It'd be amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Yeah. Plus they have like the whole trail side, which is just like obviously so successful.
Yeah, those
and,
guys
like,
are crazy.
cool.
Did
Yeah.
you do any trail runs with that part of the team out
No, when I went out, it was the first time they had just the road team.
there? Oh, okay.
So it was supposed to be just the 7 of us, but like half of them couldn't come because they were like at a Diamond League meet or like doing like orienteering. So it was like 5 of us, but it was very cool. Yeah.
Usually we say no free ads, but we'll give one. Tell us about the shoes. What were you wearing? Is the new carbon shoe they have pretty good?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, do whatever you're allowed to say. What's your
New
favorite daily
shoe?
trainer that is out to the public that you can talk about?
Yeah. I wear the Aeroglides. I think it's the 3 is the one they're on now. That's pretty much my daily shoe. I wear it everywhere. They have a gravel version now, which is very cool, and I wear that a lot. And then I recently requested for one of the trail shoes. Now that I'm in Boulder and there's like trails, I was like, oh, I could actually like utilize this. So hopefully that comes soon and I'll get to try out some of the trail shoes, which I'm very excited about.
And track spikes. They've
Yes,
got
and track spikes.
which I don't think are like generally available, but
No.
they never said they were smart enough never to send me a pair, but I know that they do have them. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They're on, I think I just got in June the 2nd iteration of them, and they're nice. They're bright. I get a lot of compliments on them. People are always like, oh my God, they're like bright red. Yeah, they're good. And then they have a new super shoe coming out in January, which is what I've been wearing. I have the prototypes, and yeah, they're awesome. I love them. I think people are gonna be like, people who see me wearing them like in Boulder are like, what? Like, what are those? Like, I think they're gonna be make big moves. Plus, I mean, someone wore them and won the New York 5K, and another person wore them and got 5th at the New York City Marathon, beat all the Americans. So
Pretty good. And there was
just saying.
there was a Runner's World article that shouted them out as like one of the fastest shoes in New York.
We'll see. January. Yeah.
Maybe I'll try them out, see how they can get me out the door more
Yeah.
than I already am right now.
Yeah, they're very cool. They look also like super sick. So I like wearing them a lot.
So one thing that's fun for us is, we said earlier, we talked to you episode 2, and that was like when you were trying to figure out where you were going, had aspirations of being a professional runner, and just wanted a chance. You got your chance. Now you're on your, I guess technically third contract of a professional runner?
Yeah, 2nd if you don't count like extending it by a year or
Yeah.
whatever like that. Yeah. Yeah.
If you think back to your 2019 self, fresh out of center, hearing that you're on your 2nd professional running contract, living in Colorado, like you've gone through the ups and downs like throughout your career, but now you're here. Like I guess, can you reflect on that of just, you did what you wanted to do, like you spoke it into existence?
Yeah, I feel like I've done much more than I wanted to do. I think at that time, I mean, I think my PB was 16:35 in the 5K. If you had told me I'd run like 15:40, I would have been like, "Oh my God, that's amazing. Like I knew I could be better." um, yeah, and like I've made every US champs or Olympic trials since my junior year of college, technically, because I technically got in barely. Like I don't think I would have thought any of that. I thought it was taking a chance on myself, gonna try to get better, maybe a 2 or 3 year thing as like a semi-elite and then go get a job. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm thrilled. I love it. I mean, I'm just fallen in love with running more and felt more like, okay, like I'm made for this. Like I'm really good at this and I like really enjoy it on the day to day, which I don't think is everyone who's a pro runner. Um, so I mean, I love racing and I love training. I just love like most aspects of it. It's not always fun, but like I enjoy it a lot. Yeah, I don't think I could have thought that this would be like where it ended up, where I'm thinking about like a long-term career and like how long can I possibly do this. So
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been thinking is that, you've had a really successful start to your pro career, but you're kind of just now in this really like perfect spot, at least from the outside, where you have all these pieces in place at kind of the very beginning of an Olympic cycle. And, you know, this should kind of be where you kind of hang out heading into those Olympic Games where you'll be in your prime and you'll have years with the same sponsor under your belt and the same
yeah.
training and the same coach. And
Yeah.
so I don't know. It strikes me that you should be really optimistic about kind of what's coming.
Yeah, I think I am. I don't know, like by 2028, if I'll be in the marathon or like on the track or what, but yeah, I do feel that way. Just like, okay, like this is going really well. I'm really excited to have the stability of like being with knowing that I'm going to be with Solomon and through then, and
Yeah.
hopefully, another contract after that. Like I feel just so happy to be with them. I didn't know how good it was going to be. Like I was excited about it because like they're freaking cool. Like their sports style stuff is awesome and like super in. Like that's exciting if I only get to wear one shoe to like have all of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like the team that they're building and just like knowing I'm gonna be with them and only them is just like it's a relief. And like knowing I have the stability of income and like a coaching budget and a travel budget and just like going to be taken care of so that I can focus on just the running for once, which just hasn't always been the case. I'm really excited about that. And I do feel like I'm in like a good spot. I think people are surprised because I don't think people, because I didn't go to a big D1 school or whatever, like recently, people been like, oh, how old are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm 29. I think they're surprised by that. I think they all think I'm like 27 or 26. So they're kind of like, what? But I do feel like I'm just kind of, hitting my stride. Um, and yeah, in terms of training years, I'm a little younger, just because of the late start. So yeah, that doesn't really scare me. I'd like to like be around for hopefully a while and to continue to get better. Yeah.
For this upcoming 2026 season, specifically outdoors, since you're not really sure yet for indoors, where are we going to see you? We see 5K, 10K. You're going back to the steeple.
Yeah. I don't know. Probably not the steeple this year.
Because is it a champs year this year? Is it always a champs year?
No.
No champs?
No. Well, there's no like world champs.
Right, but they're USAs, even if there's no worlds?
I think so. Yeah.
There's
Okay.
always a US champs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah, I don't know. My coach I think, really thinks I'll do well at the 10K, which I agree. I've only ran one road 10K ever. And it went bad, but I was also like set up to fail in some ways with it. So yeah, I think we're both like kind of interested in what that could be. I don't really know. Yeah. I mean, I have a race coming up soon-ish, and then we haven't made any plans after that. I'm definitely going to be on the track, but no idea what. Probably not steeple, but I'm not like closing the door on steeple completely. It would just, I think, take a little bit more than like the next few months for me to want to get back on the steeple line, basically.
You've also gotten married since we talked to you last. How's that going? And also like making a move with a partner and stuff. Like, does he have a flexible job? How did you guys kind of have that conversation about relocating?
Yeah, I mean, that was hard. It's hard when you have a life that's not just like maybe both of you are pro runners.
Yeah.
Because other people's jobs don't just allow you to kind of pick up and leave usually. But we got really lucky, and he really likes his job now. He's the marketing like director of a spice company in Boston. And they're pretty much all in Boston. But when he told them, you know, hey, I mean, we knew months in advance that maybe we'd be moving, maybe. And so he kind of was able to be like, I don't know about this, but like, would there ever be a possibility, or do I like, if this happens, do I need to look for jobs? And they were pretty open. Like, they were like, we value you a lot. And so, like, if that's kind of what you need to do, like, I think we can make that work. So luckily, he's fully remote. He has an office upstairs. He actually really enjoys it, which was surprising. I was really nervous because like right now the only person he sees is me, which makes me nervous until we like meet friends here.
Yeah.
But like he says it's been great. Like he's like, oh, I get so much more work in the day. And then because of the hours, like kind of trying to line up a little bit, he's done it like 3 or 4, which is really nice,
Oh, yeah.
instead of like 5 o'clock, which really means 5:30 in Colin's life, which means he's home at 6:30. So like we have more time together, which is nice. And he's been enjoying the remote work. But yeah, I mean, it was still hard, like to be like, hey, I know we really like it here, but like we kind of need to move to Colorado, and like neither of us have ever been, but like hopefully we like it. But yeah, the move itself was okay. It was a little stressful. We drove here. We rented a pod to put all of our stuff in.
Let's go.
We stopped in Ohio, stayed at my parents' house for like a week, and then drove
You
the
gotta
rest.
stop in Ohio.
Oh, yeah,
it's
you
a
know.
mandatory
Yeah,
Midwest stop. Yeah.
exactly. And then drove the rest of the way here. So the only thing we had was like the stuff in our 2 cars. And our pod was supposed to get here the day after we got here, and then it got stuck in a warehouse in Denver, and we had none of our stuff for a month and 2 days.
But it was so close. Your
Yeah, it
stuff
was in
so
Denver.
close. Yeah.
Yeah, it was horrible. So we slept on this couch for a month
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
that we bought off Facebook Marketplace, and we had his Xbox, because priorities, 1 TV, like 2 suitcases, and a bunch of his Pokemon cards was like the only thing that we had.
Oh, thank
The
God.
necessities. Yeah.
Yeah.
you have
Yeah,
all
the things that he didn't want, he wanted to be
Yeah, yeah.
taken care of, is what we had in our cars, essentially.
Your retirement fund is in those Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
He legitimately would say that, yes.
Yeah.
So he has quite the portfolio. So yeah, that's about all we had. So that was rough, especially like, luckily I had almost all of my running clothes and like 1 pair of workout shoes and stuff. I'd like overpacked on clothes on accident because I was just like stressed packing stuff up. So we were like, okay. But I once we got all of our stuff, I was like, I never want to wear these clothes again for like a month or 2, because like I've been wearing them so much. So that was not fun. But the rest of the move was good. Yeah.
So let's take you back to your D3 glory days. Why you're on the podcast here? It's regionals this coming weekend, nationals the weekend after that. Any sage advice for any
Yeah.
young Harriers out there, either trying to make it to nationals for their first time, or for the contenders trying
Yeah.
to win a national title?
Yeah, I feel like you just have to, I mean, it's the same advice that I would give like a professional now, is like, you kind of have to take your shot. Like, don't count yourself out of the race with like regionals and winning a national title. Like, I don't know about like D1 or D2, but in D3, I kind of feel like it's usually between, a good amount of people. Like, you can kind of take your shot, especially maybe at like a regional race. So yeah, don't be scared to like make a bold move, maybe more towards the end and not towards the beginning. But take a bold move and just believe in yourself and your training, and to fulfill whatever goal you have, whether that's like, finishing top 50 in the region, or winning the region, or just like making it to nationals. I've personally been in all those spots. My freshman year, I finished, I think, 50th in the region. I think in the weakest region too. And then had to like move up and try to learn from my past experiences of like, okay, well, I did this, like now look to the next thing. I never won a cross country title, so can't help you there.
Do you still
No
feel
advice.
do you still feel like connected to your D3 roots very often? Like, do you have kids kind of like slide into your DMs looking for advice and stuff? Are you talking to the team on any kind
Yeah.
of basis? Like, what's that been like?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I do. My coach will definitely occasionally send like a kid my way, like, oh, you should talk to so and so, But yeah, I mean, I keep up with it more than I do, not like a ton, but I keep up with it more than like I'm paying attention to like the D1 results. Like I'm still on TFers occasionally, and like definitely with my team particularly, or like with Wellesley, seeing what's happening. I generally know, like I look at like pre-nats, although not a lot of people went to like pre-nats this year, but like I go to that, look at that stuff, keep up with like the conference that my team's in a little bit. And so yeah, I mean, I feel like I do. I still sometimes, do stuff with like the center team, like their SAC asked me to speak over the summer to like the athletes, and now I have like teammates who are making it into the Hall of Fame at center now that they've like passed the 10-year mark or whatever. So yeah, a little bit. I mean, I talked to my college coach enough, so yeah.
You're always connected that way.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, sorry you didn't win conference. Like, we're texting about it. I'm like, oh, here's my race result. Like, how do you think the team's doing? Like, anyone going individually? Stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's always good to just, stay in tune with it so that way you can at least have a great conversation with her and be like, hey, what's going on with so-and-so? Name
Yeah.
drop them and call them out.
Yeah.
Well, Annie, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us. Glad you're doing so well and settled in Colorado, and we're super excited to see what you can do here in the future. And I'm sure we'll have you on in 2026 for our yearly Annie Rodenfels update.
Of course. Yeah. Thanks for having me. Favorite podcast. Let's go.